I stand to move that the votes and proceedings of Thursday, 7th March.
Sorry. When I saw your hand up, I thought you were trying to make correction somewhere. But we have noted your interest.
Sorry.
No problem. Page 668. Page 669. Page 670. Page 671. Page 672. Page 673. Page 674. Page 675. Page 676. Page 677. Page 678. Page 679. Page 680. Page 681. Page 682. Page 683. Page 684. Page 685. Page 686. Page 687. Page 688. Page 689. Page 690. Page 691. Page 692. Page 693. Page 694. Page 695. Page 696. Page 697. Page 698. Page 699. Page 700. Page 701. page 702, page 703, page 704. No corrections so far, so I must commend the clerk of the Senate and the Secretariat for a job well done. Distinguished Senator Odende.
Sorry. Thank you, Mr. President, my dear colleagues. I stand to move that the votes and proceedings of Thursday, 7 March 2024 be adopted. I so move.
Distinguished Senator Agadaga.
Thank you, Mr. President, my dear colleagues. I rise to second the motion, ably moved by Senator Dende for the adoption of the votes and proceedings. I so second. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that the votes and proceedings of Thursday, the 7th day of March 2024 be approved. Those in support of the motion as moved and seconded say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Any further observation should be written and sent to the clerk of the Senate. Announcement. This is to notify distinguished senators that the Senate People's Democratic Party caucus, PDP caucus meeting is scheduled to hold as follows. Wednesday, the 13th day of March 2024, venue Senate Hearing Room 4.31. Time will now be 5 p.m. prompt. Signed by the civil Senator Abamuru, the minority leader. This is to notify the civil senators that the meeting of the Southern Senators Forum is rescheduled to hold as follows. Wednesday, the 13th day of March, 2024. Venue, meeting room 321. Time, 2 p.m. Prompt. Signed by distinguished Senator Biggie Barinada. On Sunday, the 10th day of March 2024, was the birthday of the civil Senator Sunday Steve Karimi. So on behalf of the Nigerian Senate, the 10th Senate, we want to wish Senator Karimi a very happy birthday in arrears, long life, prosperity, and many more years of service to our fatherland in good health. Congratulations. This is from the Office of the Deputy Clerk of the Senate, in charge of administration, notification and invitation. It is with a sense of loss and total submission to the will of God Almighty that I respectfully notify you and the entire Nigerian Senate of the demise of my beloved mother, Mama Salome Paulina Otei Agada Ni Ochai, who passed on Saturday, 20th January 2024, at the age of 83 years. I wish to respectfully invite you and the entire Senate to have funeral ceremonies, which are scheduled to hold from Thursday 11th to Friday 12th April 2024 at Ipare Otukpa, Egu Orogam, respectively, in Ogadiba, yes, I'm sure Ogadibo, rather, Ogadibo local government area of Benue State. However, activities to commence her burial will commence on Wednesday, the 3rd day of April 2024, with a requiem mass at the Holy Family Catholic Church Live Camp Abuja by 6:30 p.m. Particularly those that may not be able to attend at Benue State are invited to join this Holy Mass on the 3rd day of April 2024 at 6:30 p.m. at the Holy Family Catholic Church Live Camp Abuja. Distinguished senators, please accept the assurances of my highest consideration. Signed, Agada Rawlings Emmanuel, Deputy Clerk Administration, Senate. So on behalf of the Senate, we want to also condole him and members of his family and pray Almighty God to accept our soul in heaven. Amen. This is from the clerk, the Senate, Office of the Clerk of the Senate, addressed to His Excellency, the Civil Senator Godswill Akpabio. Notification of the demise of Mr. Benedict Efeturi, former Clerk of the Senate, 2010 to 2014. Former Deputy Clerk to the National Assembly, 2014 to 2017. I wish to notify Your Excellency, the Senate President, and distinguished senators of the demise of Mr. Benedict Efeturi, who died on 5th of March 2024 after a brief illness. Mr. Efeturi acquired various educational qualifications, including a bachelor's degree in political science and a master's degree in international law and diplomacy from the University of Lagos. He worked in various capacities in the civil service of the Federation before joining the National Assembly service, where he rose through the ranks until he was appointed as Clerk of the Senate in March 2010, a position he held until he was appointed Deputy Clerk to the entire National Assembly in 2014, and he thereafter retired in 2017. The funeral arrangements will be announced by the family. I respectfully request the Senate to observe a minute silence in his honor. Please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest consideration. This is from our brother Chinedu Francis Akubweze, Clerk of the Senate. Distinguished colleagues, having heard his request and prayer, is it the wish of the Senate that we observe a minute silence in honor of the demise of our former clerk? Those in support say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. But we rise for 1 minute silence. By the soul of the former clerk of this hallowed chamber, Mr. Benedict Efeturi, rest in perfect peace. Distinguished colleagues, any petition?
Point of order.
Any petition?
Point of order.
Point of order, yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleague, Adiola Solomon Olamilekan, representing Ogun West Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, I come under Order 9, Order 10, Order 41, and Order 51. With the kind permission of Mr. President, may I proceed to read Order 9.
Okay, please read the orders.
Thank you, sir. Order 9. The privilege and the right enjoyed by the Senate collectively and by its members of the Senate individually, conferred by the Legislative House in bracket powers and privileges, Act Cap 208, Laws of the Federation of 1990 and other statutes, or by practice, precedent, usage, and custom. Order 10. OB, when arises in case where adequate provision is not made in this standing order, the Senate shall by resolution regulate its own procedure. 10. Any senator may arise at any time to speak upon a matter of privilege suddenly arising, and he shall be prepared to move without notice a motion declaring that a contempt or a breach of privilege has been committed, or referring the matter to the Committee on Ethics and Privileges. But if the matter is raised in the Committee of the Whole, the Senate and the chairman shall leave the chair to report progress. Order 41. Order 41, matters of urgent public importance. The matter for discussion shall, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of the day's sitting, and the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. 2, if the claim is allowed by the President of the Senate and the leave of the Senate is given by at least 1/5 of the senator, and the matter shall stand over to the next legislative day. 3, a senator moving a motion under combined order of 41 and 51 shall ensure that the copies of the motion are available for all the senators when approved to move the motion is granted. Not more than one of such motion shall be made at the same sitting. 51. Notice shall not be dispensed with in the case of a motion and in respect of any other proceeding for which this notice is required, except with the consent of the President of the Senate and the general assent of the senators present. Mr. President, very distinguished colleague, I have come up with this order this morning because one, my privilege has been breached. Also, because I am one of those that participated in the passage of the 2024 appropriation bill. Because preparation of budgets is not only the sole responsibility of the Senate. It includes the Federal House of Reps and even the executive. But as chairman chairing the Senate Committee on Appropriation, who actively participated in the preparation of this document, and for what have transpired within the last 3 days, my privilege has been breached.
Sorry, what has transpired? Use your mic and your campaign voice.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, one of the distinguished senators of these chambers, a third-term senator precisely, granted an interview, second-term senator, granted an interview to BBC Hausa, and in that interview, issue relating to budget was mentioned, where it was stated clearly that this.
Well, let me. I think you have made your point. That you came under Order 9, Order 10, Order 41, and Order 51. One, breach of privileges. Two, matter of urgent national importance. And you have mentioned a burning issue in the public glare about interviews on the BBC services and some other media. So you would like us to give you the opportunity to move a motion in that regard. Is it the view of the Senate that he be allowed to continue? Those in support say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You may move your motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, for the avoidance of doubt, before I go ahead and move my motion, I have the full transcript of the interview that was granted, and it was transcribed by Bashiru Aliu Mayeri, who transcribed it from Hausa to Langi, and it was notarized in the Court of Competent Jurisdiction, the Federal High Court, Abuja. And I have here in the flash the voice of distinguished Senator Abdul Ningi for everything he has said on that interview. With the kind permission of the Senate, I would like to lay this to before the Senate.
Please proceed. The clerk. Can I have a copy? Distinguished Senator Solomon Olamileko, is it possible for you to, in the course of trying to move your motion, for members who may not have been privileged to listen to the interview, can you read the transcribed version of the interview for us? The point of order, the clerk, he may need a copy.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators, I'm Michael Okpeyemi Bamidele. I represent the Central Senatorial District, and by the grace of God and the benevolence of my colleagues, the leader of the Senate. My point of order is Order 9 and Order 10. I will invite Mr. President and our distinguished colleagues to take legislative notice of the fact that these two orders have just been read by distinguished Senator Olamileko. However, for the purpose of emphasis and for ensuring that we follow our rules, I want to emphasize that it is emphasized in Order 9.2 that when a matter of privilege is read, it shall be taken immediately. That in Order 9.3, it says where there isn't enough provision, the Senate shall regulate itself, which is covered in Order 1 sub B of our rules. But most importantly, Order 10 gives 2 instances under which a matter of privilege, when taking this seriously, ought to be considered. One is either to refer it to the Committee on Petitions or take it as a committee of the whole, where it is considered that seriously. For the avoidance of that, let me read that Order 10 once again. Any senator may rise at any time to speak upon a matter of privilege suddenly arising, and he shall be prepared to move without notice a motion declaring that a contempt or breach of privilege has been committed, or referring the matter to the Committee on Ethics and Privileges. Now note, but if the matter is raised in the Committee of the whole Senate, the chairman shall leave the chair to report progress. Mr. Chairman, I stand to actually raise this order and to move, most respectfully, that the Senate resolve to a Committee of the whole to take this motion so that the chairman will be back to report progress. I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, I believe that he should actually be allowed to take his motion, but Senator Neda.
Good morning, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I'm Senator Neda Imaswan, representing Edo South Senatorial District. I stand to second the motion moved by the leader of the Senate that this motion be referred to the Committee of the Whole so that Mr. President can report progress. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the various orders on the Senate standing orders as amended have been read out and are already known to us. The Senate leader has moved a motion that Senator Olamileko be allowed to proceed to present his motion to us, but that should be done under Committee of the Whole. Now the motion has been moved that this motion be taken under the Committee of the Whole, and thereafter the Senate President should report progress. Those in support that will proceed to resolve into Committee of the Whole to consider the motion and thereafter report progress, say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So we'll resolve into Committee of the Whole. Distinguished Senator Olamileko, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleague. Once again, Adeola Solomon Olamileko, representing Ogun West Senatorial District. Mr. President, to start with, you request of me to read the full transcript of the interview that was granted, or I go straight to the motion. Which do you want? The motion. Okay. Okay. The motion. Mr. President, urgent needs to address the false allegation.
Let's follow the procedure. The allegations you are describing have been transcribed. Even many that heard the first interview on the BBC service may not understand the language. Hence, you notarize the transcribed version. So it's important that you keep the entire Senate abreast of what this is all about before you go into your motion. So please read the transcribed version.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleague. Once again, Adeola Olamilekan Solomon, Ogun West Centurial District. The full English version of what Senator Abdul Ningi said in Hausa version of the BBC program. First of all, I want you to know that I am a member of the People's Democratic Party and a representative of the people. Based on my opinion, the government hasn't performed to our expectation. Things are getting worse compared to when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took the leadership of the country. People are going through a lot of difficulties. We live in the village. We are going there to interact with them, and they are lamenting seriously. They have now nowhere to go, so they have no one to express their grievances to than us. I think Bola Ahmed Tinubu didn't even understand the country, and he didn't understand the difficulties of ruling a country like Nigeria. Probably he has his thinking of what governance is, but I don't blame him so much, because when he was campaigning for the seat, there was no agreement or promise between him and the people. People were just blinded and voted for him because he supported former President Muhammadu Buhari when he was contesting. Some even voted for him because he is a Muslim, and as such, he needed their vote on whether he can or cannot do the right thing for the country. But the most painful thing is that the Northerners stood for him and did all they could to bring him to power. But unfortunately, there was no agreement between them and the president on what should be done to the North and the Northerners, especially taking into consideration the importance and the significant projects that the North has been yearning and aspiring to get for a long time. For example, the Ajaokuta project, the Mambila Power project, the dredging of River Niger, and other notable projects. What mostly disturbed my sleep is that we had a budget in 2013 and 2014 in which we earmarked billions of naira, but it was neglected by President Goodluck Jonathan. When President Buhari came, we thought it was one of the projects he would pay attention to. But unfortunately, it wasn't possible for over 8 years. Even road construction like Kano Abuja is not yet completed, as if it was a cause by someone, despite the road being the soul of our travelers in the North. Indeed, we don't attack the government as an opposition is supposed to do, but this is as a result of the situation and the government we have. There is so-called leaders that force on us were not voted by us. They brought religious issue and ethnic and tribal issue into the process. They use propaganda saying that there is no Hausa Fulani will be trusted to lead the opposition because there will be no peace. If you look at it from this scenario, the majority of those in opposition are from the Northeast and the Northwest. But we are not allowed to be the leaders of the opposition in the Senate. This is one of the reasons why we said we will go back and look at what is happening under the umbrella of the Northern Senators Forum, which is under my leadership. But you can't do anything here because it involves members of the ruling and opposition party. It is very difficult to challenge the ruling party under the umbrella. Once again, you want the unity of the North. Transferring of some of the Department of Federal Agency to Lagos.
Read the last paragraph again.
Sir? it is very difficult to challenge the ruling party under that umbrella once you want the unity of the North. Transferring of some department or federal agency to Lagos. I will speak not as a member of opposition, but as a northerner. As a northerner, I know that
what I have on my paper, which is the transcribed version, which has been notarized by a court of competent jurisdiction, is what I would like to hear. Some of the things you read there are not here. You said, I want you to start from where you said, this is one of the reasons why we will go back and look at what is happening under the umbrella. So read from there.
okay, this is one of the reasons why we said we will go back and look at what is happening under the umbrella of the Northern Senators Forum, which is under my leadership. But you can't do anything here. You can't do everything here because it involves members of the ruling and opposition party. It is very difficult to challenge the ruling party under that umbrella once you want the unity of the North. Transferring of some department of federal agency to Lagos. I will speak not as a member of opposition, but as a northerner. And as a northerner, I know that this is going to happen. We heard about it, and we saw several examples in the past, and that tell us that this is possible. But as I speak, our people, especially the leaders, are yet to take any action to find the solution. That is why I am not even surprised. These things that are happening are two categories. Some affect the North only, some affect the entire country. What we are doing now, as a leader of the Forum of Northerners, we are trying to address the problem to reduce the strength or reduce its strength without allowing politics to come in. About the review of the budgets. This is true. For the past 3 months, we have engaged consultants to review the budget for us. We have some experts that are working on it line by line. We have seen huge damage that was done not only to the North, but the entire country in that budget. We are supposed to sit with the Senate President to inform him about what we have observed. We want to show him what we have seen in the budget that is not acceptable. We will not accept them, and we don't want the country to continue spending money on those things. Apart from what the National Assembly did on the floor, there was another budget that was done underground which we didn't know. The new things we have discovered in the budget were not known to us. We haven't seen them in the budget, and that was debated and considered on the floor of the National Assembly. Discoveries. For example, it was said that there was a budget of 28 trillion, but what we passed was 25 trillion naira.
Please read that again, because this is the Senate. This is the Senate. We are only an arm of the National Assembly. Budget is a joint thing between the National Assembly and between the Senate and the House of Representatives. Are you hearing me? Yeah. And then the executive is also involved in the sense that they bring the budget, and then we look at it, tinker with it, and pass. I want you to read that portion again. For example, read.
For example, it was said that there was a budget of 28 trillion, but what was passed was 25 trillion. So there is a 3 trillion on top. Where are they? Where is it going? So we need to know this. There are a lot of things we are coming up with. A report, and we will show the president himself and ask him if he's aware or not. This is what we intended to do. We are to meet the president. We will talk to him about the Mambila Power Project, Ajaokuta, and the River Niger dredging. We will talk to him about the Niger Republic. Recently, they said they will construct a dam, and this is not good for us. The action taken by ECOWAS has affected the relationship between Nigeria and Niger. There was an agreement, Nigeria and Niger. There was an agreement that they will not construct a dam to that, so that the Kanji Dam will be intact, and we will have them, we will give them electricity in returns. Over $1 billion was spent on Mambila. BBC has reported. Where is that money? Who collected the money? We need to know and see what can be done. This Mambila is like the future of the North. Every part of the North, every part of the country has its own as a symbol that will save them in the future. One of our weaknesses in the North is that we don't love ourselves and our region so much that we don't care about the future. We are all just living anyhow. We just love the region in our mouth, not at heart, and I'm seriously worried about that. Security challenge in the North. These security challenges are happening in the North. There is nowhere in the South where someone will be abducted and spend even 7 days in custody of the abductors. Look at Katsina, Zamfara, and Benue. I am even afraid that one day we will wake up and see the state like Zamfara are being taken away from the country. It is possible going by what is happening. And this was transcribed by Bashiru Aliu Mere, confirmed the above translated version of the Hausa interview used by Hausa service of the BBC on the program Gani Mani Aya, and is correct. And it is notarized document. Gani Maya, sorry. Gani Mani Aya. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I haven't read the transcribed version. I come under Order 9 and 10 that my privilege has been breached. And I focus on that particular area that I believe affects me and not on the entire interview that was granted. And it becomes necessary, aftermath of the various interviews and headlines of various social media, newspapers that have come forth as a result of this singular interview. And it is on that premise that I've decided to approach these chambers to seek for protection and also to put up a motion before the Nigerian Senate to know the nitty-gritty of what has been said as contained in this particular interview.
Just to guide, is it from this interview that we saw the screaming headlines that the Senate had padded the 2028 budget with 3 trillion? Is it from? Because
let me present the motion, then I will explain. Urgent need to address the false allegation against the Senate and the presidency on the 2024 Appropriation Act by Senator Abdul Ningi, representing Bauchi Central. The motion is sponsored by me, Adeola Olamilekon. The Senate notes that following the presentation of the 2024 Appropriation Bill of 27.503 by the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to the joint sitting of the Senate and the House of Representatives on Wednesday, the 29th of November, 2023. And following the debate of the general principle of the bill, at the second reading from Thursday, the 30th November to Friday, 1st December 2023, the bill was committed to the Committee on Appropriation for further legislative action, and in which Senator Abdul Ningi is a member of the committee. Also note that to attain the January-December budget cycle, the subcommittee submitted the harmonized report to the Committee of Appropriation, and the report of the Committee on Appropriation submitted to the Senate and was unanimously passed on Saturday, the 30th of December 2023, and a budget of 28.77 trillion was assented to by the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces on 1st of January 2024, as shown below. Mr. President, very distinguished colleague, before I go further, the document we have here, the two documents we have here was shared to the 109 Senator of the Senate. Contained in this document, under the volume 1, paragraph 2, 3, and 4, is the breakdown of the 28.77 trillion budget that was passed. And from paragraph 7, 8, are the breakdown of the budget, which we call the budget details of the entire MDAs. And when you add this figure together, as contained in this document for the entire MDAs, it comes to 25.4 trillion naira. Sir, there are agencies of the government whose budgets and their details are not contained in these two documents because they are statutory agencies and their money are on first line charge. Agencies such as 1, the judiciary. The judiciary budget details is not contained in this document. 2, the National Assembly. The National Assembly budget details is not contained in this document. 3, INEC. The INEC budget details is not contained in this document. 4, UBEC, the Universal Basic Education. The Universal Basic Education budget details is not contained in this document. 6, TED Fund. The TED Fund recurrent and capital is not details is not contained in this budget. 7, the Northeast Development Commission. The breakdown of the Northeast Development Commission details is not contained in this budget. 8, the NDDC. The NDDC budget details is not contained in this document. 9, the GOEs, which is the government-owned enterprise, whose expenditure stood at 1,060 billion naira. Their details is not contained in this document. When you add all of that together, it gives you 3.221 trillion naira. And when you add it to the 25.4, it gives you 28.77 trillion naira. And it's no new thing. I have here a copy of the last 3 budget that was passed, 2021, 2022, 2023. All the details of these agencies I've mentioned are not contained in this document. So for my brother who have put up a consultant to look into this budget and have reported that 25 trillion was approved by the Senate, it's not been fair to the Senate. And I want to say that despite the fact an overture made to the Senate President and complained bitterly about this, and the Senate President requested that let me be furnished with the details and we look into it and necessary action will be taken. We refused, or instead of doing that, we went to the press and addressed the press. And as at yesterday, my brother Senator Abdul Ningi still insists that he stood by his 3.7 trillion that has been missing within the 2024 appropriation bill. Sir, attached herewith in this document are item and the list of those documents that are contained in the budget and those that are not contained in the budget that made up the 28.77 trillion. Aware that the additional increase of 1.2 trillion to that was presented by the President came during the appropriation process through the additional funding request and some item of expenditure to the committee. Some item of expenditure to the committee they were not included in the bill as submitted by the President. We are meant to address additional funding for judiciary, agriculture, food security, works, science and technology, education, water resources, National Assembly, health, national homegrown school feeding program, and please see attached below as I presented. Also aware that the additional source of funding for the increase came from the benchmark of naira to $1 from 750 to 800 naira, and the increase in government-owned enterprises revenue and other sources. Alarm that on Saturday, the 9th March 2023, Senator Abdul Ningi, the PDP Bauchi Central, claiming to speak on behalf of the Northern Senator Forum, granted an interview to BBC News Hausa service, where he made false and grave allegations against the executive, the President of the Senate, and the Senate, whereby he alleged that 2024 Appropriation Act passed by the National Assembly and being implemented by the executive is 25 trillion instead of 28.77 trillion, indicating a padding of 3 trillion naira. On the basis of this falsehood, Senator Ningi claimed that there is a budget done on the ground, meaning that the federal government is operating two national budgets. Further alarm that Senator Sulaiman Kawu, NNPP Kano South, a member of the Northern Senator Forum, in particular the spokesperson forum, posted the audio copy of the interview, see attached notarized English language translation on Senator's exclusive social media platform, purporting to support its content and further spread the false allegation, which immediately found its way into numerous online media outlets and mainstream print and electronic media, with such headline like Northern Senator alleged 3 trillion pardon, exclusive Northern Senator move against Akpabio over alleged 4 trillion budget pardon, and other similar derogatory headline. Disturbed that these false allegations, including that of 2024 appropriation budget being against the North, has since generated debate in the media and general public, with aspersion on all senators of the Senate and members of the National Assembly. Accordingly resolved, 1. Pursuant to Order 1B of the Senate Standing Rule 2023 as amended, allow the immediate deliberation of this matter and take appropriate action deemed fit in the overriding public interest as a matter of urgent importance to prevent further breakdown of law and order. 2. Take further necessary steps to correct the wrong impression in the public domain of 2024 appropriation budget created by the BBC interview and other national social media houses and social media platform by Senator Abdul Ningi and amplified by Senator Sulaiman Abdurrahman Kawu through his Facebook account and other social media platform. 3. Take any further decision as the Senate deemed fit and proper safeguard the integrity of the 2024 budget, which is the pivotal to the revamping of the economy. Mr. President, very distinguished colleague, I so submit. I so move.
Yes. Distinguished Senator Joel.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Joel Honorable Thomas. I represent the good people of Delta South Natural District. Mr. President, I arise to second the motion ably presented by my colleague, distinguished Senator Adiola Olamilekan. Mr. President, having seconded the motion, I want to crave your indulgence to make my contributions. Thank you, Mr. President, and distinguished colleagues. The statement by distinguished Senator Ningi Abdul, PDP Bauchi Central, the chairman of the Northern Senators Forum, in some sections of the media, that the 2024 budget was padded to the tune of 3 trillion, and that the executive was implementing a different budget from what was passed by the National Assembly, is not only very presumptuous, It is scandalous and an attempt to incite the public against the National Assembly and the federal government. This particular budget was passed by both chambers of the National Assembly and was assented to by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. To now cast aspersions on such a matter of national significance without allowing the fact-checking or verification is worrisome. Mr. President, permit me to read verbatim the English version posted by distinguished Senator Suleiman Kawu. Breaking news. For the first time in Nigeria history, today we are operating two different budgets. One budget approved by the National Assembly, signed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the other implemented by the presidency. This one approved by us is 25 trillion, while the one operated by the federal government is 28 trillion. Apparently, we discovered 3 trillion was inserted into the budget without locations. This is the highest budget padding happened in Nigeria history under Senator Akpabio watched. I'm quoting. We resolve as people representatives to see President Tinubu on this issue with facts and figures to ask him if he is aware with this embarrassment or not. Then from there we will take action. Let Nigerians be patient with us. This is a national issue. It affects all Nigerians irrespective of party, tribe, or religion. Senator Abdul Ningi, Chairman of the Senators Forum, as quoted by Senator Suleiman Kawu. Mr. President, the above statement contains the following assertions. Number one, today in Nigeria, we are operating two budgets. Two, the one approved by the National Assembly is 25 trillion, while the one operated by the President is 28 trillion. I'm a member of the Appropriation Committee, I'm a member of this Senate, and it is in this Senate that we sat and considered the 2024 appropriation bill and passed it. And what we passed was not 25 trillion, but was 28 trillion. The third point there is that we discovered 3 trillion was inserted into the budget without locations. 4, this is the highest budget padding in Nigerian history under Senator Akpabio. 5th, let Nigerians be patient with us. Mr. President, as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and as a global citizen with global credentials, allowing me to practice as an accountant and tax professional anywhere in the world, I want to say these assertions must be promptly investigated and decisive actions taken to save the integrity of the Senate and my integrity. Because all eyes are on us, and this matter is currently a matter in the public domain. Mr. President, I second the motion that this matter be investigated and follow the rules of the Senate and take actions. I so move, Mr. President. Thank you, sir. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, for me, I think this is a very straightforward matter. We have a situation where we should actually be the stabilizers of the National Assembly. But I think sometimes in our efforts to go after certain individuals and to go after certain goals and to go after certain personal issues, we tend to go overboard. I think you've thrown more light, Senator Joel, on what was posted by Senator Kawu. I think that is where they picked most of the headlines from. Budget padding. Akwabio, 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 Akwabio. I don't think anybody ever mentioned Tajuddin Abbas, Tajuddin Abbas, Tajuddin Abbas, because it takes both the Senate and the House of Representatives to make a budget. The executive submits it to us, and then we work on it, and we even worked on it together. All the committees here invited their DGs, the ministers, and they appeared before them. All their MDs, you appear before them before you finally, when in fact to speed up the process, we made sure that we had a joint meeting of the House of Representatives and the Senate when you were meeting with the heads of your various agencies and ministries before finally going to defend your proposals before the appropriation committee, which was also a joint sitting of appropriation committee of the House of Reps and the Senate. So I think what is out there from United States of America to Canada, to this, to that, as a result of the issue generated. In fact, I've even seen a response from the presidency attempting to even defend the Senate, that in their assessment, there was no budget padding by the Senate. But I've seen Premium Times also reporting that this is the highest budget padding in the history of Nigeria since 1960. That, yes. So it's not for me, it's for you to discuss. I want to state clearly that I am an unbiased umpire. I have no voice, I have no say. The decision is yours. The single Senator Olarere. Point of order will be taken, but let's finish this because we are on a point of order. Huh? I will take it. I've already recognized Senator Olarere. You are not hearing what I'm saying. I have heard your point of order. It will be taken. Senator Olarere, say what you want to say.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Just a clarification. My name is Olalere Kamorudin Oyewumi. I represent Osun West Central District, and by the grace of God and the support of my people, the Deputy Minority Leader of the Senate. Sir, it will be very important to make a clarification at this point, because this matter and all the allegations are already in the public domain, and questions have been asked from time to time since 2 days ago when this thing came out. In paragraph 4 or 5, you know, there was a whole paragraph devoted to the selection of the minority leadership has been imposed. I found that very disturbing. Imposed by who? I was fortunate to be among the first set and the second set. The truth is that nobody imposed us, and our colleagues know that we are not imposed. Wait, that is it here. Wait, let me finish. It is there. It is there. Please let me finish. It is there. Both the first one and the second one, our people signed for us. In the first attempt, 36 senators signed for the three of us. And when the two of them were removed, individually, the present minority leader was signed for personally, and he has 42 votes. I said we elected you. So, thank you. It's very, very important so that the world will know that we are not imposed. We are elected by our people through their signature, and that is why we are announced to represent our people. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
let me say that had been breached, and that he was elected by his people, one as a senator, and two elected by majority of the members of the opposition, and it was not imposed. So your observation and your submissions are sustained. Senator Alero.
Point of order, Mr. President. I come under constitutional point of order. 36. Section 36. Right to fair hearing. With your permission, Mr. President, I will read. Let me go straight forward and read 2A, section 36, 2A. Please. Provides upon, okay. In the determination of his civil rights and obligation, including any question or determination by or against any government or authority, a person shall be entitled to fair hearing within a reasonable time by a court or other tribunal established by law and constituted in such manner as to secure its independence and impartiality. Provides, I will section 2A, not waste our time. 2A provides for an opportunity for the person whose rights and obligation may be affected to make representation to an administrative authority before the authority makes the decision affecting that person. Mr. President, I come under this order because fair hearing is a fundamental human right enshrined in our Constitution. Allegations have been made against Senator Abdul Ningi. I think it's only fair for us to give him time or to give him chance to defend himself before this august body.
I want to do it now and here. And I have the documents. I have the documents to back any claim. I want to be given the opportunity to defend myself.
You are not recognized. Sit down, you are not recognized.
Here.
Mr. President, I haven't finished. I also have a point of order raised by Senate leader.
Distinguished colleagues, we cannot suddenly turn the Senate into a market. Distinguished Senator Alero, we give you respect, not just as a ranking senator, but as an elder statesman. So if you stop talking while you have the floor, and then you allow Senator Ningi to jump up and start shouting, that's not the behavior of the Senate. This place is not, this is not a Rise Television or BBC Hausa service. So I would like a situation where you speak. If Senator Ningi wants to say something, I will grant him the opportunity, and he will say something. But we must conduct ourselves with decorum and respect for one another, and particularly respect for this institution. So if you are through, and any other person wants to talk, the person will raise his hand. I will recognize you. You can go. Noted. Any other person who wants to say something? Yeah, no, we can't go further with any other person until I hear from Senator Ningi.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Abdul Ningi, and I represent Bauchi Central of Bauchi State, and of course, a member of the Appropriation Committee of the Senate. Mr. President, from the onset, let me concur to about 80% of the translation read out by Senator Yai. I think they have done a fair job, except on some issues that they could not understand. First, I have never said somebody was blinded. Secondly, I have never said the budget was flooded. Mr. Chairman, the beginning of this brouhaha started with this text, and by your leave, I will read. For the first time in Nigerian history today, we're operating two different budgets. One budget approved by the National Assembly, signed by President Bola Tinubu, and one signed and one implemented by the presidency. The one approved by us is 25 trillion, while the one operating by the government is 28 trillion. Apparently, we discovered 3 trillion was inserted into the budget without location. This is the highest budget pattern happening in Nigeria. History under Senator Akpabio, taking place under the watchful eyes of Senator Akpabio. We resolve as people representing to see Bola Ahmed Tinubu on this issue with facts and figures, to ask him if he's aware with this embarrassment or not. Then from there, we will take action. Let Nigerians be patient with us. This is a national issue. It affects Nigeria, irrespective of party, tribe, or religion. And Senator Abdul Ningi, Chairman, Northern Senators Forum, is purported to be the author of this document, of this. Let me, for the avoidance of doubt, I have never issued out a statement of this nature to anybody, anywhere, and anytime. And I want members of this Senate to record it. This is a fake contribution that was forwarded. I do not know the author of this. Having listened to the House of Virgin read out by Senator Yai, have you discovered any of this proposition? Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. You have discovered one issue that pertains to the budget, and that is the issue of 28 trillion versus 25 trillion. I have said that. And I said, if you are listening to him clearly, that we had passed a budget of 28 trillion, and we have discovered location. That's what I said. Please. Can you listen to me? And I said, in between the 28 point something trillion and the 25 trillion, we have discovered that there is no nexus. There is no nexus. Nexus means there is no amount of money to a location. There is no amount of money to a location, and I said, work is in progress. Mr. Chairman, you recalled last Tuesday, myself and Kawu saw you up there, and that we wanted to have an audience with you. And you gave us the grace to see you. We wanted Wednesday, you said no Thursday. And we met. The National Assembly, the Northern Senators Forum met on a Tuesday with a copy of our findings, which is here before us. And the only person who has a copy is myself. When we met as a forum, nobody, no one has seen what is in these copies. What we did, we read out what was discovered and which we felt was disturbing. Subsequently, therefore, we made a visit to your place. Even as we visited your place, we gave you a summary of what you think happened. And we told you we are almost 80% completion. I tried to run down some of the figures to you, and you listen attentively. At the end of the proceedings, you also said, part of the problem we have is the way the budget was brought, and there was no time for the full rigors of budgetary provision. We said we can understand that. However, I told you, Mr. President, that these two copies with me, we have about 21 additional copies that will make it to you. And I told Bino Zero and Kawu that on a Monday, the leadership of the forum will take the complete copies of our findings to you. On a Friday, Mr. President, my attention was called to this particular forward submission. And we chatted, myself, Senator Dab, Senator Karimi, Senator Medoki, and they showed their anger about this particular statement. And I said, listen to the Hausa version. In the Hausa version, did you hear me mention Apagio's name? Did you hear me mention Padin? Even the one that was read out, there was no. So I went to Sokoto and quickly came back to Abuja. As I was arriving in Abuja, here you have a presidential spokesman response. Not on the interview I granted, but on this particular version that I said the president is implementing budget. That I said the president does not like the nurse. That I said the president does not care about the nurse. And therefore, because of the filthy nature that the national media took it, I rushed to this assembly and countered with documentary evidence what was said here and what I said. Mr. President, if you had listened, all your agents have listened to the Arise interview and the Correspondence Chapel interview, I said categorically, the president's powers stopped as a proposal, as he proposed the budget. And I said, there is no way the National Assembly will add anything on the budget and it becomes funding. The tapes are there. I said the National Assemblies have powers, and you cannot call that powers padding. And I said I'm very grateful to the presidential spokesman who, encountering me, said the National Assembly added 1.27 trillion. And I was very clear. I was not aware of the addition. I was not even aware, as I'm seated here, of the full budget of the National Assembly. Mr. President, please, can you allow me to, Mr. President, perusing through the budget, first, we discover humongous anomalies of repetition. We discovered some senatorial districts in this particular document. Some senatorial districts have up to 120 billion. And my senatorial district has just 2 billion. Mr. President, yes. Mr. President, in this budget that Yari presented to you, I have facts, constituency by constituency. Some 120 billion, some 50 billion, some 30 billion. Mr. President, some have less than 1 billion. Mr. President, as I speak to you, Mr. President, as I speak to you, I do not know your take-home pay. You know my own. I do not know the take-home pays of any of the principal officers. Mr. President, as I speak, I know within the budgetary provisions, you made available funds for purchase of cars. Mr. President, I don't know how much was spent on your cars and the other principal officers. I know how much was spent on individuals, senators' cars. And as I speak to you here, standing, people are calling me names. I do not receive a single car. All within the budget provisions, Mr. Chairman. All within the budget provisions. I have as a matter of fact, I have 5 aides, just like every member of the House of Representatives has 5. Mr. President, I do not know the number of your aides. I do not know the number of the aides of the Deputy Senate President. You allow me to speculate, and therefore everything that is in the budget is my concern. Finally, Mr. President, finally, Mr. President, finally, Mr. President, finally, in the course of It's perfect. You called me for investigation.
Distinguished Senator Ningi, when you were speaking, you said in conclusion.
Yeah, I'm going to conclude, sir.
No, I said, you said in conclusion. But let me just say that in your speech,
Yes, sir.
you tended to deviate from the issues on the floor. And you tended to bundle a lot of issues together. And distinguished colleagues, may I just inform you that distinguished Senator Ningi and distinguished Senator Ismail Akawo requested a meeting with me and Northern senators that they were going to meet with me and 38 others. And at that meeting, I may have to report to you that even Senator Tambuwa was there, Senator Sani Musa was there, and a lot of other senators, including Senator Bamoro, and many other Northern senators were there. And he told me that he had paid a consultant 30 million to unbundle the budget, and he also made some of the allusions here that what was passed by the National Assembly was 25 trillion, but what is being operated by the presidency was 28 trillion. And when he told me that, I said, I would like to see the details. In fact, he said, so some things are repeated in the budget, and that the calculation his consultants have come up with was 25 trillion. And therefore, 3.7 trillion was hanging. Distinguished Senator Alero, you missed that meeting, but many of the senators were there in that meeting. He now gave me a diagram trying to give percentages allotted to regions. And in the course of it, I discovered that while the Southeast, at least I'm talking of Southeast now, had about 3.9%. The South-South had 2.2%. The South-South is where the Senate President comes from. So I was surprised. So I called his attention, and I requested to have the full details. And he promised me that he was going to make the full details available. And I told him that when the full details are made available, in fact, Senator Dume was also there, he spoke, that when the full details of his findings, you were there, you even, Senator Dume was not only there, but he also spoke. I said, when the full details are made available, that I definitely will also get a consultant to study it, and I will call us to meet again. Up till now, you have not given me any document, but you were able to attend to the BBC interview. So, what is before us now is that it will be good for our colleagues, because this is in the public glare. If you had given me full details, I have not received full details up to this moment. I would have been able to know what you know. But so far, what you know is only known to you. It's not known to any other person. So I don't know how you rush to the press. Premium Times, all sorts of areas carry different versions. And the Nigerian public, the social media is very fast. from Canada, United States, everywhere, the story was budget padding by Senate. In fact, I can quote a section of the Premium Time that said that this is the highest level of budget padding in Nigeria's history, where the Senate passed a budget of 25 trillion, but what is being operated is 20 trillion. I just want Nigerians to know, because Nigerians are listening to us. I want Nigerians to know that what the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, presented to us in a joint sitting end of November 2023 for consideration was 27.5 trillion. So at no time did the President present 25 trillion. Now, the presidency has even come to clarify that. And if there is any addition to the budget, it's in the sum of 1.2 trillion. And he has, the remover of the motion has given us the breakdown of where the additions went to. And also, for me, that you are saying you have, you don't know how many aides the Senate President has, you don't know how many aides the Deputy Senate President has, that is in the budget. We haven't seen the areas in the budget where the aides of the senators and Senate Presidents are listed out. No matter what we want to discuss here, this is not the speech I expected. I expected a speech of somebody who would say, oh, I was misquoted. Oh, I'm sorry for this or that. Oh, the misinterpretation was this. But you went back to Arise yesterday night and justified your position and went further to say you have documents. Even now in front of this Senate, you say you have documents. And those documents are with you. No single senator here knows. No Nigerian knows. But at the same time, Nigerians are bashing the Senate. Nigerians are imbibing. Many Nigerians will never in future come back to respect these chambers. So the integrity of these chambers has been totally damaged, and we wanted you to repair it with your speech. But instead of that, you said you have more documents to prove what you are saying. Senator, I did not cut, I gave you all the time. Senator Shehu Sani, sorry, Senator Sani Musa, I want your contribution, not just as a senator, but also as a chairman of Senate Committee on Finance that played a major role in this budget saga.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Mohammed Sani Musa, representing Niger East Senatorial District. My distinguished colleagues, I'm standing to make my own comments and to say it convincingly as my heart and mind have given me to say. I am a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria like any one of you here. But strongly, I am disappointed not only in the way and manners we present ourselves to national discourse. And there is no better place for me to say it than here. I went to my constituency yesterday. I have seen calls from my colleagues. I have not responded to some. Some I have answered them. What is your view about what is happening? Why are you not commenting? Why will I comment? Is it my colleagues that voted for me to be here? Why will I comment? 2024 budget came on the 31st of November. 30th of November. 30th of November. and we had only 1 month. If I will go by parliamentary standards, we have the right to decide when to pass our budget. But if we have decided to pass a budget, on what parameters did we pass our budget? And if those parameters were given, this respectful chamber sat down, deliberate on those parameters, agree on those parameters, pass those parameters and approve them? Because there's no way you can make a budget without them. So if anybody will come and say this budget is a default, that means we are all at default from the first time when we were passing the MTEF. And when the executive brought their budget as a proposal, the total amount compared to the total amount they returned after the first MTEF, we still deliberated here and we reviewed that MTEF, we approved it and we passed it. So I'm hearing for the first time, waiting for Senator Ningi to affirm himself, to saying he said we passed 25 trillion naira budget. Since he has said he did not say it and he recanted it, I will reserve the words I have for that. But I will go further to saying that I've been maligned as a senator. The respect I used to have when I go home, I saw it different the last time I went. And I was told that I've been given an allocation of 55 billion in my budget, and that video is even in the TikTok today. So why will I not stand here and say my mind? I'm not a party to any discovery that I have not seen. To me, it's not a discovery. And I don't see any reason why I will disturb myself to posting any comment. I will want my distinguished and respectful colleagues, Mr. President, I'm not one person that do anything on eye service. I don't. If I have anything I will say it before anyone and clear my mind. Distinguished Senator Ningi, Samai Lekau, you are a northern senators. And I'm saying it in the chamber of the Senate. I'm not a second-class northerner. I will be sitting here. Some of the things that are happening within the Northern Senators Forum doesn't get to people like me. This is the person that will give me the information. So what makes me feel somehow the day we came for the meeting in the Senate President's office, in fact, I didn't want to attend that meeting. It was one of your aides that insisted I must be there. If I'm not there, it will mean something. I said, let it mean. I was chairing a subcommittee meeting in the ad hoc of disbursement then, but I was the last person to be there. And why did I go there? Why did I go there? Why did I go there? If there's anything, we agreed at that meeting, nobody will go to the press. I was asked to comment. I reluctantly comment. Let me use the word of Senator Abaribe. In the 9th Assembly, he will always say, I'm reluctantly agreeing to it. I reluctantly agreed to make a comment. And when I made a comment, I said, if anybody said he has seen anything provide the evidence. And since the evidence will be given to Senate President knows where to take those evidences, and we will know the truth or otherwise of those evidences. But going to the press, we should not go to the press. In the morning, when I saw a message from Samai Lakau, I felt we should have acted as senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I felt so sad when I saw it. And that message is going round. Look at the content, look at the English. Is it senators? Is that our quality? Is that our standard? Mr. President, we will deal with the issue of the Senate of the budget, but we have to also deal with our ethical standard in the Senate. Thank you, Mr. President.
Here, point of order. Point of order. Point of order. Point of order.
Senator Jaribe.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, distinguished colleagues, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for yielding the floor to me. I thought when the chairman of appropriations spoke, it was as clear as crystals that there was a misunderstanding of the figures. When he came up with the GOEs and all the agencies on first line charge, there is no difference between the figure he reeled out and the figure purported to be padded. I thought with that matter would have been rested by Senator Ningi, saying that this 3-point-something billion, trillion was not part of the budgetary provisions printed out for us. That would have settled this matter. We are going forth and back on these issues and coming up with issues of the budget and individual issues concerning what came to our various constituencies. If we want to go into those issues, all of us are culpable. Some senators here, so-called senior senators, got 500 million each. I am a ranking senator, I didn't get. Did I go to the press? I didn't get. Most of you got. And yes, if we want to go into those issues, excuse me, if we want to go into those issues, yes. So I think that Senator Ningi, that is my position. Wahala now, you see the wahala. No. Quite all right. Point of order. Million.
finish. I have the floor. I have the floor. Mr. President, sitting as chair, I still have the floor. Let us watch our dirty linen in public, man. Hello. Your Excellency. I love you.
Apologize to all on his behalf.
Distinguished senators, take your seat, please. No, let's go. Take your seat. Take your seat. Let's continue.
Let it clear that it was 500 projects, not 30%.
Na leader now.
We lose this momentum.
I want to appeal to my decision.
Order! Take your seat, take your seat. Point of order! Point of order! Take your seat, take your seat. Take your distinguished colleagues, take your seat, take your seat. Sars, take your seat. Take your seat, take your seat, take your seat. Senator Cyril, take your seat. Senator
No, he's, don't worry. I'll handle it. I'll handle it. Distinguished colleagues, Section 66. Open to Section 66. Section 66, please. Nobody should approach the chair any longer. Senator Alero, please. I want I want to take control. Please. No, please. Section 66. Senator Omer. Senator Ezia.
He's ready to apologize.
I know.
He said the consultant misled him. He is ready to say that the consultant has misled Northern Senators Party. The 0.7 billion is allocation for the judiciary and INEC.
Your Excellency, the chamber is ready for business, sir.
Point of order. Point of order. Extension of time. Mr. President, Mr. President, sitting as chair, distinguished colleagues, I rise pursuant to Order 8/3 to ask for extension of time to enable us still beyond 2 p.m. I so move, Mr. President.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I second the motion that the Senate do extend its time in order to complete the items on the order paper. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, a motion has been moved and seconded that this August Assembly do extend the time of our sitting beyond 2 p.m. Those in support of the motion as moved and seconded say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Let me point out Section 62 of our rules. Whenever the President of the Senate or the chairman rises, as in this case during a debate, any senator then speaking or offering to speak shall sit down, and the Senate, or if it is in the committee, shall be silenced so that the President of the Senate or sitting as chairman may be heard without any interruption. It means that every senator should drop his hand. It also means that every senator should be seated and no noise. Section 66 of our rules. Nobody becomes a senator unless he has gone through the rudiments of primaries, of election, and being sworn in, and therefore we have processes. The same way this chamber has processes and procedures. So whenever we make noise or move around, we must not forget that we are under strict rules of our standing orders, the rules of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are here today. Others will come tomorrow. Some of us may not come again. Some of us may come again. So it's important for us to obey the rules. So the Senate President is standing. Section 66. The President of the Senate or the Chairman, after having called the attention of the Senate or of the committee to the conduct of a senator who persists in irrelevance or tedious repetition, either of his own arguments or of the arguments used by other senators in debate, may direct him to discontinue his speech. That is 66(1). 66(2) also gives the Senate President the power to order the Sergeant at Arms to walk out such a senator from the day's proceedings. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Sitting as chair, distinguished colleagues, my name is Abba Moro. I represent the very good people of the Benue South Senatorial District, and by the grace of God and the support of my colleagues, the Minority Leader. Mr. President, I want to appreciate the debates that have gone on so far in the course of the motion moved by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Appropriation. Mr. President, I want to anchor my comment on this issue from two perspectives. From the perspective of the budget, from the perspective of the meetings that have been held this far on this issue, and then from the perspective of the derogatory and undermining comments that have been made on my position and the position of others as minority leaders. Mr. President, first, from the perspective of the budget. As has been noted, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this budget is the product of painstaking efforts by the Executive and the National Assembly. National Assembly, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. And all of us here, directly or indirectly, have been involved in the process. And we all know that in the process of making a budget, everybody, either at the level of the committee or at the level of the Senate plenary or the House of plenary, makes contributions. And if we have observations as to whatever is not correctly put in perspective from what majority of the people have advanced, we all know the procedure for addressing such issues. And I think in this instant case, we have not done that. We have not done that. And I don't know what it means to some people, but I know that this Senate is supposed to be a Senate of mature minds. And in the process, therefore, we must surrender our interests to the interests of this very institution and the institution of the country called Nigeria. To do otherwise is certainly irresponsible. And I make bold to say here that Nigeria is not an island on itself. There are other parliamentary institutions in other countries. And so when something untoward like this begins to happen, I think we must reflect very soberly and get ourselves back on the right tracks. And that is the reason why I say here that this budget, I understand that my brother here, Senator Ningi, had made some observations about the budget. Mr. President, I want to inform you that I attended that meeting of Northern Senators with you that day. Due to the respect that I have for you and the respect that I have for the leadership and the institution of Northern Senators. And when we got there, observations were made. And I think the conclusion that we arrived at that time was that these documents on the observations must be presented to the Senate President. And we agreed, even informally, that if there are any anomalies here, they can be corrected by the either corrigendum or amendment to the budget, or that the leadership will take note of the anomalies and correct them in the subsequent budget. If at all. And so, as a member of the Northern Senators Forum, I feel offended that a press conference was addressed, interviews were granted on an issue